people love to chit chat with their barber about shit. But I don't like being asked what I'm up to today. I just want to not talk to anybody. And the thing that makes it worse is that when I get my hair cut, I get kind of drowsy. Like I just like, I don't know what it is. I just kind of sit there and kind of like nod in and out of consciousness. So like, if you could just let me be like that, that'd be fucking great.
I lucked out. I found a barber in Champaign who's actually into like Marvel and Star Wars and nerd shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
And he also like doesn't talk as much as most barbers. So like,
that's pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go make a post on Blue Sky.
That's a good idea. How else will our dozens of fans know that we're live?
I don't even know if it's dozens yet. How many followers do we have on? Oh, we have 56. All right, I was more than I thought. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
Well, we should probably get this going because I have no idea how long we're going to be here tonight. So.
Okay. Starting the timer.
This is going to be a 4-hour podcast, and I'm so sorry. But
welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Chris.
Yeah, and I'm Daniel. This is our weekly podcast, the Jedi Enclave Presents, and this is Podcasting Podcast. And I tell you what they did.
We have 2.5 goddamn hours of Andor to talk about.
You know,
I mean, it's a great problem to have. I'm thrilled, but holy shit, Tony Gilroy, like Disney, really, what the fuck?
He really kicked us in the balls on this one. God.
Well, and apparently it wasn't his idea. It was
I know.
Something Disney wanted to
I know.
try,
I was talking in our
what
group
the fuck,
chat.
Kathleen Kennedy? I thought we were bros. Come on.
We were having a chat about this in the mods group chat for the Facebook group. And it's like, honest to God, I think that they made an artistic decision over a financial decision because it would make more financial sense to do the episodes spread out once a week.
Yeah,
because
that way you get 3 months of Disney Plus subs out of everyone instead of 1 month.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. And I think it's because it serves the story better. And we'll get to it. You'll know well in advance when there are spoilers. But holy God, is this show off to a great fucking start? And we are going to be talking about it tonight. We're also going to talk about Star Wars Celebration, all the shit that happened there, as if we didn't have enough shit already, and then.
The Last of Us is a thing that's happening.
A monumentally amazing episode of The Last of Us, Season 2, Episode 2. So we're going to be talking about that. While you're here, if you could give us a like on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Discord. We're on Blue Sky. So all the links to those are in the description of wherever the fuck you're watching this. So let's get into this. Yeah, because I don't know how long. Oh, by the way, we're gonna do like a quick. Like in about an hour, we're going to do a quick 10-second break so we can reset a couple of things, but then we'll...
Do not be alarmed.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. It's fine.
So Star Wars Celebration.
Let's talk about Star Wars Celebration. Well, first I want to talk about, because you and I didn't talk about this beforehand, but it's far enough away for us to start planning. Mm-hmm. The next Star Wars Celebration will be in 2027 in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Which is where I grew up, by the way. Mm-hmm. And I would very, very much like to go. So I'm saying if you are a follower of the Jedi Enclave, if you enjoy the shit that we do, and you want to meet us up in fucking LA in 2 years or whatever,
assuming Los Angeles still exists. Assuming any of us are still alive,
and it's not like the Kurt Russell movie Escape from LA.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's in California, so it's probably going to burn to ash before we get there.
Yeah.
But
if it's still around, I would very much like to go, and I'm giving you enough notice now that there's either a plane trip or a road trip in our 2-year future.
I will pencil it into my calendar.
Yeah. All right. Star Wars: The Mandalorian and Grogu got an exclusive trailer, which I hate these, but I hate that they do these. I understand that they want to reward the people.
Sure, you want something special there, but
yes, but it was in fucking Japan.
Yeah, a week later, just put it up on YouTube. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Right, and it's like, it was in Japan, motherfuckers. Do you have any idea how expensive it is to travel to fucking Japan? I lived there. Back then, it was expensive to get to Japan. Mm-hmm. You know,
although it's apparently pretty cheap once you get there because their currency isn't super
diluted. Right? Yeah. Also, it's just a better place to be in general. And when I had to leave, I cried because I was in love with it. Anyway, they dropped a trailer. Star Wars: The Mandalorian Grogu feature Din Djarin killing some stormtroopers, taking down some fucking ATSTs. There were little cell phone videos of it. So I got to see it, but it was in really low quality. And that's the thing, Disney, is that, like, people, you're never going to stop people. You're never going to stop the one guy that gets the video of it. It doesn't matter how hard you tighten your grip. Systems will just keep slipping right fucking through. So we're going to see the trailer anyway. Wouldn't you rather us see it the way it's meant to be seen?
In glorious 4K or whatever.
Right, so just drop the motherfucker on YouTube and stop fucking around with us. We see Rhoda the Hutt, who apparently is now a gladiator fighter, I guess.
Okay.
And he's actually reminds me of a character that was in our Edge of the Galaxy campaign, or Edge of the Galaxy?
Yes.
Yeah. Campaign.
Edge of the Empire.
Yeah, Edge of the Empire campaign. A swole Hutt, which apparently Rhoda the Hutt grew up fairly well for a.
Also,
for
like that one Hutt in the comics who runs Black Sun, Crimson Sun, Crimson Dawn.
Crimson. Well, it's not Crimson Dawn. It's he's just a Hutt. Yeah, okay. And so that's the thing about Hutts, and a lot of people don't realize this, is that Hutts, when they're younger, are more trim and more muscular, and as they get older and more, like, they get into
richer,
right? Yeah. They get fatter and yeah. I get to see some Imperial walkers get fucked. Sigourney Weaver not only was there for an interview and on the panel and shit, is in the trailer as well, and she plays. I was really hoping that they weren't just recasting Amy Sedaris' character.
Yeah,
and that's not it at all. She's an entirely new.
Okay.
She's like a New Republic former pilot commander kind of character.
Okay,
cool. And I mean, Sigourney Weaver is a world-class fucking actor, particularly in sci-fi. So I'm really looking forward to seeing her as well. We got a bunch of confirmations that certain things are still happening. Now, until they actually happen, I do not believe them, because Star Wars, Lucasfilm is really bad at announcing shit, and it never happens. But Kathleen Kennedy got up and was like, okay, the Rey movie, still happening.
Okay.
James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi thing, still happening.
Okay.
Simon Kinberg, the guy that co-wrote Rebels, Star Wars, Rebels or Clone Wars, is getting an entire trilogy, apparently.
That there's no way that's gonna survive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like that they were gonna give a trilogy to the fucking Game of Thrones guys and Rian Johnson.
Well, to be fair, the Game of Thrones guys, that was their trilogy to lose, and they found a way to lose
lost
it. Yeah. That isn't so much on Lucasfilm as it was they're like, oh, they're fucking idiots. We can't let them do a Star Wars. Taika Waititi's movie apparently is still happening, albeit
on Taika time.
Albeit with some shade thrown at Taika Waititi by Kathleen Kennedy, who got up on the stage and was like, "Well, Taika's working on Taika time, and I would like him to know, if he's still watching, if he's watching right now, the ball's in your court, motherfucker. Turn in your fucking script and we'll do your movie." That's like almost literally what she said.
You know, while this was happening, Taika was just at home, sitting on his beanbag chair in his boxers, eating Cheetos or something. Yeah.
I really want a Taika Waititi movie.
I really want it too. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but it would be nice.
A huge fucking reveal. Mm-hmm. Sean Levy's Star Wars movie has a title, Star Wars Starfighter, and will star Ryan Gosling.
Ooh.
And starts filming this fall and they're eyeing a May 28th, 2027 release. Why are they calling it Star Wars?
Around the time of that next Star Wars celebration, by the way.
Yeah. No. That's correct. Yeah. So I don't. Star Wars Starfighter, I thought might have been like a working title, but no, that's like I don't know why it's called that. I think it happens, I think, before the sequel trilogy, but after Jedi. But it might actually be after the sequel trilogy. I can't remember.
Okay.
So we don't know a ton about it, but I mean, Ryan Gosling is a good actor, and we'll see what happens with it.
A little while ago, you linked me some rumor about someone else who had been cast in there. I forget who it was now.
In that movie, you mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Are you sure it wasn't just Ryan Gosling?
No, it was someone opposite Ryan Gosling.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't know. If you remember, put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Light and Magic, I think right now has a second season on Disney Plus, which is a documentary style, like, oh, this is Industrial Light and Magic.
This is what ILM does. They were in all these movies you like. Aren't they great?
They invented everything we know about digital effects today. It's just it's incredible. The legacy of artists in that company is incredible.
And the way George Lucas embezzled a bunch of money out of Fox
to found it,
like half the budget of the original Star Wars.
He's like, we're starting ILM, and it's going to belong to me somehow.
I have no idea how he got away with that.
The funniest moment from this, by the way, is, and I can't remember the guy's name in it, and it makes me upset, but he was like one of the head animators for episode 2, read the script and saw that Yoda was going to fight. Mm-hmm. But all that George Lucas has written in the script was Yoda fights, and it's the most epic thing anyone has ever seen. And this guy is like, how are we going to do that? Because George Lucas is like, you can't do puppets. And he's like, what else is
what
there?
The fuck does that mean?
And apparently, I didn't realize this, but Ahmed Best was more involved in the effects in general in the movies because he was Jar Jar and spent a lot of time with the effects guys and stuff. And he saw this animator just walking around the parking lot in a daze because he didn't know what he was going to do. And so he told him about it, and then Ahmed Best took him into his trailer and showed him a bunch of anime movies, and they blocked out how the fight was going to go and pumped him up, and was like, dude, you can do this.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah. And Ahmed Best
Good
apparently,
guy, Ahmed Best.
It's one of the reasons the Yoda fight in episode 2 was so fucking cool. So there you go.
Good for you, Ahmed Best.
One of my favorite moments in Star Wars Celebration, Manny Jacinto.
Oh yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, did a little interview. By the way, hottest man alive. And guess what? The crowd was chanting the entire time.
Season 2.
Season 2
would be nice.
Just gonna leave that there. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord is happening in between the Clone Wars and Rebels, and it looks like we might be getting a Darth Talon character as well. So if you know about Darth Talon, it's a whole thing. We'll probably talk about it at some point. Yeah. So that'll be an animated series that looks cool as fuck, and I'm always ready for more.
Is it still in that Clone Wars 3D animation style?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We learned a bunch of shit about Ahsoka season 2. First of all, that the entire season is a grand war with Grand Admiral Thrawn versus Admiral Akbar.
Okay.
On one side, on the Skywalker Galaxy side, and then where fucking Ahsoka and everyone else are, they're bringing back Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. Rory McCann is now confirmed as the recast for Baylan Skoll. They showed a picture of him in the costume. Mm-hmm. He looks good. I did express some trepidation about this casting because I love Rory McCann. He plays one of my favorite characters in Game of Thrones. But I couldn't see the connective tissue between him and Baylan Skoll, and I still kind of can't. That being said, if he channels the character and he does a good job, it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. So I'm excited to see what he does with it, and I'm sure he'll be good. I mean, he's such a good actor.
He was the Hound?
The Hound, yes. Yeah. Sandor Clegane, yeah.
I believe.
And he's good. He's so fucking good. They're eyeing a 2026 release for this, and there's a big elephant in the room that we have to talk about where it comes to Ahsoka Season 2, which is that if Grand Admiral Thrawn has come back to the galaxy in his raging war against the New Republic, Luke Skywalker does not stay out of this war. It just, and if they find a way for him to just be on a field trip the whole time or something, I think that like old school Star Wars fans are going to be like, dude, like he's got one job and it's to deal with shit like this. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have to see some Luke Skywalker in this series, and hopefully they just buckle up and do it, and it'll be epic as fuck, and that'd be cool. But what they can't do is just be like, oh, he went grocery shopping actually, and he's not around. So yeah. Or they do the thing.
He went to escort Poochie back to his home planet.
Right. Or they do the thing in the one Spider-Man, the one where they go to France or whatever, or Rome, where Spider-Man's like, get Captain Marvel, and he's like, she's off planet. Don't do that shit. Like, if you're gonna do Thrawn versus the fucking New Republic, you have to have Luke Skywalker. Star Wars Zero Company got an official trailer.
Okay.
And I don't know about this. I understand what video game it's supposed to look like because it's like XCOM or whatever. Yeah. I've never played those kinds of games before, so I'm not really sure at the look of it. I'm used to a different kind of Star Wars game. Yeah. That being said,
not every game is going to be for you,
right?
And that's okay.
And I'm still going to play it, by the way, because it's Star Wars, and but if I'm surprised about it, I'm surprised about it. Star Wars Outlaws will have DLC featuring Hondo Anaka, and I'm excited for that because I had some problems with Star Wars Outlaws in general. However, I ended up enjoying more of it than I didn't. And I think Hondo is a great fit for that story and K-Vess, and I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Okay.
Star Wars Visions Season 3 is happening, as well as a spin-off series on the 9th Jedi, which is my favorite. It's my favorite episode.
It's up there, definitely, yeah. Japan was the absolute perfect place to announce all this.
Yep.
It's just so appropriate, given that almost all those episodes come from Japanese anime studios, who not only did a fantastic job, but you can tell they were thrilled to be doing this.
Yeah, right. Fortnite skins. Whatever.
Not every game's for everyone, and that's
like
okay.
If you play Fortnite and you're excited about Star Wars, that's great. I'm happy for you.
Fantastic.
To the comments real quick. How long have you been dating? Chris and I have never dated. Chris is pretty straight. I'm very not, and I think after more than a decade of knowing each other, we haven't slept with each other yet. So I can confirm for a fact that Chris is straight.
We went to one of those small Midwestern liberal arts colleges. The rule there was you had 3 semesters. At which point, either you came out as gay or you didn't.
And we knew for sure. After 3 semesters, you know for sure. Excited for episode 3 to be in theaters. Again, that's this weekend, by the way. And yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Is it Andor time?
Yes, it is Star Wars Andor time.
Andor time.
And so let's do a spoiler-free thing real quick.
Okay.
So I think I have seen Andor season 1. I think 3 times at this point.
Okay.
My partner and I watched it the week leading up to yesterday. And I'm still surprised at how emotional it makes me because of how beautiful of a show it was. And just like shows like Severance, you worry about a show that had an amazing first season and then the second season not measuring up, right? Because a lot of the time, they're like, we didn't really plan for a second season.
Yeah, they blew their wad, and now they don't know where to go.
But they're like, this made money, motherfucker, so you're making more. And they're like, oh, okay, I guess we'll do a thing.
That I don't think that was ever going to be a problem with this show in particular because they kind of planned it out.
Yeah, and they knew how much space was in between.
They knew from the beginning they were going to have 2 seasons. One of them was going to be very compressed. The other one was going to have these like 1-year separated story arcs.
Right.
And they had this whole plan, and so far it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I think the natural anxiety is, the second season isn't going to be as good as the first season. And granted, I haven't seen the entire show. We have seen the 3-episode.
We have
premiere.
Seen review aggregators that have been extraordinarily positive.
Yeah. I think the Rotten Tomato score is really.
It's
really
like
high.
98% or something. It's absurd.
Yeah. And based on what we've seen in the first 3 episodes, I can see why, because the show's off to an extraordinarily strong start. It's firing on all cylinders. The fucking the music is so good.
God, that episode we just watched, the 3rd one.
That fucking
as a fantastic,
the wedding party.
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
yes. The performances are amazing. Diego Luna is specifically amazing, but even more so.
There's this big bunch of small characters that appear in the first 2 episodes, and
they're all stars in their
like,
scenes.
They may not be the most impressive or what's the word I'm looking for here? Like formally important characters, but like they play those bit roles incredibly well.
All in. Yeah. However, Genevieve O'Reilly and Stellan Skarsgård steal the cake.
Absolutely.
Every scene they're in is you can't pull your eyes away. Genevieve O'Reilly, particularly.
It's because both of them are playing characters that have at least 2 different faces.
Yeah. Yes. Their whole thing is duality. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. And they both have.
And like you see the anxiety and the conflict between what they want on the inside and what they're
juggling,
allowed
spinning
to display
plates.
on the outside.
And they're trying to contain things that can barely be contained. Mm-hmm. And this is the thing is that they risk so much because if they're caught doing what they're doing, they will die.
Yep. And
however, the beautiful thing about their characters is that they're willing to get caught. They're willing to take the risk, mm-hmm. right? And I said this before, particularly after we watched the big trailer that dropped for season 2, that this show and the themes in this show feel different now than when the first season came out because of our current political landscape. Mm-hmm. And nothing like this is, I feel like this story now is hitting a part of my blood that runs hot, and it makes you want to be a fucking rebel. And I think that they kind of understood that. I mean, the themes of rebellion. They understood
that it was at least a possibility while they were making this, because it was in production 2 years ago or something.
And even if the election didn't go the way that it did, there are still systemic problems in society that they tackle in these episodes in a really beautiful way. And it's pretty crazy. It just watching Andor nowadays, it's like, no, I fucking get it, man. Like, I totally understand what's going on here. So that's our spoiler-free review. If you've not seen them and you don't want it spoiled, here's your warning. Come back later. Give us a pause. We're live right now, but come back and let us know what you thought.
Seriously, go watch these episodes. Yeah. It's really fucking good.
Yeah, and then put your thoughts in the comments as well. Especially if we miss anything important, which I doubt that we will. However, let's get into it.
Yes.
So episode 1, first thing we learn is that this has happened 1 year after the events of Andor season 1, which is in the timeline for BBY, which is 4 years before the Battle of Yavin. And this episode opens on this great TIE fighter heist at Sinar, which is a really big Legends deep cut. Mm-hmm. If you've had any of the old visual dictionaries, or I used to have a Star Wars book that was like all the technology and weapons mm-hmm. from Star Wars.
Sinar Fleet Systems is the name of the company.
Yeah, they make ships and weapons.
They make TIE fighters. Like every single TIE fighter you saw in the original trilogy was Sinar Fleet Systems in universe.
They also did all the they built a bunch of shit for the Republic during the Clone Wars, and
My question is, what Cassian is stealing a TIE fighter? Like it has a similar-ish shape.
I think it's a prototype.
2 engines, but like, what is it the prototype for exactly? Because it's big.
Yeah.
Like TIE fighters don't have that extended cabin with passenger seats.
Right. Yeah.
Like I look at it and I can sort of see like the TIE Advanced X1 or maybe like the TIE Interceptor.
Yeah, like a real chunky TIE Interceptor.
But it's so big.
Yeah.
And we see as this goes along, it's actually incredibly durable, which is not what TIE fighters generally are.
Right. Yeah, no, they're pretty undurable, actually. So I think the thing with this is that I believe this ship is probably one of a kind. I think it's a prototype. Mm-hmm. And as we know from like Thrawn's TIE project that he was working on, that the Empire doesn't really care about tough TIE fighters. because they're expensive to produce. You have to train the pilots.
They have unlimited manpower. It's
Right.
easy. It's cheaper to just throw a new pilot into a new TIE fighter and send him on his way than put like shield generators or life support in a TIE fighter.
So I think that they develop these prototypes to be like, oh look, a TIE fighter with shields, and the Empire's like, eh.
Empire's like, eh.
We don't.
We have more where they came from.
So Cassian has infiltrated this base at Sinai, or I think it's a factory. And he has an insider that's helping. She's one of the technicians there, and they chat about before this heist. They chat about like the danger of the operation that they're doing, and like this poor girl is terrified, and it kind of gets into this recurring theme throughout all of Andor, season 1 included. The sacrifice that people are willing to do in the face of fascism, and it's inspiring as fuck because she's like, I've made friends here and I've enjoyed my job here, but I must fight the Empire, and so I'm willing to burn it all. And you can tell that she is afraid of the prospect of dying, but it does not stop her, and that's like.
Cassian even gives her a little speech.
He talks her up a little bit.
You already decided the Empire can't win, so you're here willing to put it all on the line. Like
that, how fucking heroic is that? We find out that it does not hurt that Diego Luna and Cassian Andor is easy on the eyes because
this technician's supervisor walks past. He's like, "Hey, what you doing?
Yeah,
you're flirting with that cute guy, aren't you?"
Yeah. She's like, "Damn, girl, he's hot." And she's
get
like,
it.
and then she turns around. She's like, "Yeah, she thinks you're hot." And he's like, "Yeah, I get it." So Cassian goes into the fighter bay. He gets into the cockpit and realizes this is not the ship he trained on.
Even before that, he gets there. Like he's walking through this bay. There's this droid there that lights up and starts beeping at him. He just shoots it.
Right, yeah.
And then he uncouples the tube and then gets in. He's like, what the fuck is this? I have to like stick my arm through here and like
he's trying to figure out the controls.
Are the guns.
He doesn't know, like he's like, okay, I've settled in, let's fucking go. Throws back the throttle and it just goes backwards. Right, which causes a problem.
Reminds me of that scene in Independence Day when Will Smith gets in the fighter and like he has the
alien thing. Yeah.
He pulls back
and then he switches. He turns it upside down.
He flips the Post-it note over.
Oh, what a great movie, by the way. We watch that every couple of years. What a fucking great movie. So this raises some alarms because he crashes into a wall. The bay doors close. A bunch of stormtroopers come in. Most of them can't really hurt this TIE fighter at all. He finds where the laser cannons are. And so he takes out a bunch of guys, and then he realizes there's another guy over here with a fucking rocket launcher, and Cassian's like, oh, well, that actually might hurt a little bit.
That's a problem.
So he locks onto him with another weapon, and there's a good power failure gag. It's very Han Solo, watch this, and like nothing happens kind of thing. Yeah. But he gets it online right as this guy's about to shoot a rocket at him, and fires a torpedo at this one. And like
this dude.
Yeah, you don't even see what happens.
You just see a giant hole in the door,
in the bay door behind
from the outside.
Yeah, right where that guy was standing. There's just a big hole in the door behind him.
And then Cassian thinks about this for a second. Is like, I can get this fucking door open. Yeah. He just keeps blasting it with this thing.
He is intercepted by some TIE Advanced. These are special types of TIE fighters. We see them in Star Wars Rebels. They have the TIE Pod, but the wings are kind of. It's almost like Vader's TIE Advanced. How he has the like the curved.
The big extension out from the back.
But they're a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact. They chase him. In fact, I guess this is kind of Independence Day as well. They have a little canyon chase, and he's able to. He gets the drop on him by blowing up a thing and going under it.
Rock arch and flies through it.
And then he's able to get away. Yep. And he's like, "Fuck you guys! I stole your TIE fighter."
My TIE fighter now.
Yeah. So we are introduced to a planet called Mina Rao, and this is where Bix, Brasso, Will, and B2 have holed up, right? It's a wheat-producing world. In fact, I've, in my notes, noted that this entire arc is better Rebel Moon than Rebel Moon was.
Yeah, that's true.
And
also, it's basically Kansas, the planet.
Yeah. Well,
Nebraska.
Yeah, Kansas is not as interesting on this planet. Having driven through Kansas fucking sucks. If you're from Kansas, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should move right now. Did I ever tell you about I went on a road trip through Kansas once.
Yeah.
We stopped for gas somewhere, and it was like a Casey's. It was like a chain out here. Yeah. Out in the middle of nowhere. And I asked the gas station, I was like, what's out here? Like, there's nothing out here. And she's like, oh, there used to be a town here, but a tornado came through and tore all of it up and killed everyone. And I was like,
shit, sorry I asked.
Well, y'all shouldn't live in Kansas, I guess.
What are you going to do when you live in the Great Plains?
So anyway, the whole thing here is that there are tons of migrant workers trying to produce wheat for the Empire, more or less.
This planet is a huge breadbasket for the Empire, and the Empire needs the food that comes from there, but there aren't enough citizens on the planet to do it.
Yep.
So they import workers from abroad, and
some of them are
most
legal.
Most of these are undocumented. Does this remind you of
a little bit of a theme? Right. Yeah. They have this work that must be done, but there aren't enough locals to do it. So the Empire, more or less, a lot of the time, turns a blind eye to the undocumented migrants coming to work the fields. Bix has a nightmare in their
about the doctor guy,
Dr. Gorst. Who, by the way, they do this cool intro where you walk into their building through his point of view, and then he looks at a mirror, and you're like, shit, what is Dr. Gorst doing here? What the fuck, man? But it turns out to be a nightmare because the torture that he did on Bix has affected her pretty deeply.
PTSD is a bitch.
Right. It turns out Brasso has a girlfriend.
Good for Brasso.
Named Talia. And they're all waiting for Cassian to come back, more or less, right? And they're not really sure where he is. He hasn't called in or anything or checked in.
I mean, operational security.
Right. So on Chandrilla, trad wife Leia. Not Leia, Leda. Sorry.
Yep.
Leia, not a trad wife at all. Oh my God. But trad wife Leda shows off her wedding guest, or her wedding dress.
To all her
trad wife friends.
Fellow trad wives.
Right. Yeah. The culture that they've built around Chandrilla is absolutely stunning. They've built it from the ground up, and they show it off by this 3-day wedding extravaganza. It's like this multifaceted, multi-event thing that happens over 3 days.
And they rarely ever pull as you know, on Chandrilla, we do blah, 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 blah as part of our wedding ceremony.
They do it. They just do it.
They just show you what it is.
So Mon Mothma is welcoming guests. Everyone's come in for the 3-day weekend, and everyone's got their sleeping bags and shit. And she's talking to all of her friends, and then you see her look in the distance, and this worry go across her face.
She's just like, what the fuck is he doing here?
And you don't see what she sees, and then she finds Vel, who we know from the first season. It's like, what the fuck's he doing here? She's like, I don't know. And then she walks up and she passes Tay Coleman. She's like, hey, fucking Tay Coleman. And then there's fucking
Tay's like, I kind of need to talk to you about something.
We have business. It's not important. It's actually really important, but don't worry about it. But worry about it.
Yeah.
And then the fucking mobster guy. She's like, hey, fucking whatever the fuck your name is.
My future brother-in-law,
right.
I guess.
And then she walks up, and the person that she's worried about is the fact that Luthen Rail is there.
What the fuck is Luthen doing
here?
Who
has put on his wig.
Yep.
And
he's put on his wig, he's put on his smile.
His fancy clothes.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here? And he's like, what the fuck do you think I'm doing
It's like,
here?
It's a surprise.
Yeah. Also, I can't tell you, aside from the work that we do, actually, I'm actually here on business, art business. It just happens to be a happy accident that I'm also here. Art reasons. Okay, so back on Mina Rao, we learned that Will has a little romance brewing up with a local girl. And they're doing he doesn't want to get too close to her really because they
gotta go sometimes.
Right, yeah. An Imperial ship shows up. And they start to panic because they don't know why it's there.
Yeah.
In fact, it's been a really long time since they've seen a ship of its kind.
Yeah, it's been 10 years since a ship came here, and it turns out the Empire's doing an audit.
Yeah, and you know that they're it's one of those things where when you do something wrong, or when a cop comes up behind you, even if you're not doing something wrong, you feel like you have, and you start to get real anxious and shit. So Cassian lands his stolen TIE fighter on an unnamed planet to find who he's supposed to be handing the ship off to. Yeah. The guy that he's supposed to be handing the ship off to is not there, but there is a rebel cell full of fucking idiots.
These are the stupidest rebels alive. Yeah. Holy shit.
And
this voice from the trees says, "Don't move, you're surrounded. There's 15 blasters pointing at you." Yeah, and immediately another voice like, "Don't fucking tell him how many there are, you idiot."
They immediately right out the box, that these guys cannot agree on anything. And they immediately take Cassian prisoner, and he kind of notices based on how they're just kind of like spitting at each other. He's like, "Oh, this is a fucking powder keg," because they all got guns, and they're all real testy,
and none of them like each other.
Right. So what the fuck's happening here? We go to the Malthine Divide, and I have in my notes in all caps, Director Krennic, fuck yeah, because here he is, fucking Ben Mendelsohn
himself,
and as Director Krennic, and I gotta say, man. First of all, I love Ben Mendelsohn. I think he's amazing. Seeing him again as Director Krennic for the first time
in that fancy white cape,
right? For the first time in live action since Rogue One, though he did play Director Krennic in The Bad Batch.
Oh yeah.
So he is holding the super secret meeting.
Like when he first mentioned, "Hey, you are the only people in this room who know anything about this," I was like, "Holy shit, is he talking about the Death Star here?" Like,
turns out, no, he's not.
No, he has this because he puts on this like 50s newsreel style expose on the planet Gorman.
It's like an ad.
These spiders that make this silk that makes this great clothing.
Right. So he's like, we're gonna real quick. We've got a video on Gorman. Let's watch this. And they watch it, and then he's like, pretty cool, right? Well, it turns out that also the Gormans have a material we need for a part.
A mineral deep inside their planet
right.
that will unlock the secret to unlimited energy.
Right, because of Palpatine's clean energy agenda.
Yes.
And we're going to fucking take it. So, guys, how are we going to do this?
So, here's the thing.
Most obvious choice. We kill them all.
Yeah.
Kill them all, fucking, and they're like, oh... that might actually make some people upset. And so Director Krennic's like, okay, well,
I'm open to suggestion.
Yeah. So we hear the fucking what is it called? The Ministry of Enlightenment weighs in.
The propaganda guys. Yeah, they're like, we can sell any story about anything to anybody.
Yeah.
You just fucking tell us what you want everyone to believe, and we can we can make the Gormans look like spiders, and they'll be real unattractive.
We'll have AI do it and shit. Yeah. So it's a misinformation propaganda machine. It's the Kellyanne Conway of the fucking Palpatine regime, right?
We should mention Dedra and what's his name. The director,
Daedra and Partagaz. Yeah.
Daedra and Partagaz are here.
Yeah. So also, I love how Partagaz, who's played by the guy that plays Qyburn in Game of Thrones.
Viewer.
No, that's not him.
Oh,
that's a Stannis Baratheon.
Oh yeah.
He has this thing, and I don't know if it's just his face or if he's just like this. Where the actor is always looking like he's just sitting back waiting for someone to say something stupid so it can be like...
Yeah.
The
same way Dedra always has this scowl on her face.
He's always got this like he's a little humored at how stupid everyone is. He's like, oh, look at these fucking idiots. Like the whole time the Ministry of Enlightenment's talking about spiders, he's like, Jesus. Yeah. So Director Krennic during their break approaches Dedra.
They have this little buffet with like these little
hors d'oeuvres.
Yeah.
And so he's like, so Dedra, I've heard a lot about your work, and look, Ferrix was a fucking wreck, by the way, but you picked yourself up off the floor. Yep. You dusted yourself off.
I personally requested your presence here.
Yeah. Right. And
so,
if you want to do some fucky fuck later. Yeah. And she's like, I can't, but I can't tell you why right now. And so he's like, okay, so what do you think about this whole Gorman thing?
And she's like, well, I would prefer not to speak because I don't know everything about it and I don't want to look like an idiot.
Right.
And he's like,
girl,
bitch,
please.
I fucking told you to speak. Tell me what you think.
He's like, look, can the modesty, I know you have a fucking thing you want to say, so just say it. And she's like, okay. So propaganda is only going to get you so far. The thing that would really help you out here is if there were rebels to fight on Gorman.
If there was a tame resistance.
Yeah. One that could be easily put down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, not like, we ship them in planes and nukes and all that. No. We don't want any of that. We just we just tighten the grip just enough to get people a little bit upset.
Right.
And then we can move in with...
Yeah, we have a good excuse. Yeah. And Krennic's like, hell yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
I like the way you think.
Yeah. So there's a party... Well, okay. There are a lot of parties on Chandrilla over the next 3 episodes.
The entire weekend is parties.
The Chandrillans, those assholes know how to party.
Yeah.
So they're doing it's like a reception dinner thing, right? And there's this amazing scene. Luthen is talking to an Imperial officer, and he's like pumping him for. It's like this motherfucker never stops working because he's like, so where are you stationed? And he's like, oh, I'm from Steerguard. And he's like, oh, really? What's the word at Steerguard? How many people are working there? Where are they stationed? What are their armaments like? And he's just like giving it all away, and he's like writing their shit down. He's like, this is great. Perrin and Skulldun, who's the shady mobster banker that Mon Mothma had to get. So the deal was, Skulldun's like
will
Mon Mothma,
launder money.
I'll launder your money if your
daughter has to marry.
If your daughter marries Stecken, my son, a fucking name. So Perrin and Skulldun kind of commiserate about Chandrillan marriages, and Skulldun's like, you think he's like fucking. Or no, like Perrin's you think he's tough enough? He's like, no, he's not. And Perrin's like, it's okay. It's really not so bad, actually. Being the bottom.
Speaking from experience,
yes, being led is fine. Mm-hmm. I've learned to live with it. So the rebels try to learn how to fly the new TIE fighter, but they're all fucking stupid, so they can't figure it out.
They have like one pilot with them, and even she's like, I don't fucking know how many of this
I don't know
works.
what the fuck this is.
What do these buttons do? Nothing's labeled.
Oh, they're the blasters.
And like Cassian's just sort of handcuffed in the back, leaning over like, I wouldn't press that button if I were you.
Not the one that says blasters.
Nope. Don't want to flip that switch. Nope.
So finally tensions come to a head. And they all turn on each other and a fight breaks out, and it creates 2 sides. One of them is in control of the TIE fighter, but not Cassian. And the others are control of not the TIE fighter, but Cassian, right? Yes. And that's around where the episode ends.
And neither one of them can go anywhere.
Right. So episode 2, called Sagrona Tima. The rebels are still fighting. They're sending guys out to spy into the mud. Yeah. And shit, and they're like they're like, oh, what's their fucking faces missing? Like,
I cannot emphasize enough how stupid all these people are.
Yeah, they're all pretty dumb, yeah.
Like, there's a bit I think we glossed over in the first episode where Cassian is like handcuffed and like they're all arguing, and there's one guy with a gun on him. He's like trying to manipulate this guy. Like, do they just not trust you, or do they just not like you?
Yes. Yeah. So Cassian is still a prisoner, and there's a really really aggressive rainstorm, and they're all arguing about what they're gonna do. And Cassian's like, "You need to collect some water, you fucking idiots." And they're like, "Oh,
because we don't have any food here."
Yeah. Well, we're gonna do that, but not because you said.
Yeah.
So they discover that one of their buddies is dead, and that only his foot remains, still in the shoe. And likely he was eaten by beasts. So Partagaz and Dedra walk to work. Dedra is being given...
Dedra's like, okay, look. Krennic gave me the job on Gorman. I really don't want it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so busy digging up dirt on Axis, which we know is Luthen.
Yeah, and Partagaz is like, girl, this is a gift. Like,
look, you've spent 2 years on Axis, and you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, fuck Axis.
Like, come on.
Look, this is going to seem like a demotion, but it's going to heat up, and you're going to be in charge of Gorman.
Like, this is going to make your career.
I like the rapport and camaraderie these two have, because I feel like Partagaz in season 1 liked Dedra, but he wanted to make sure, like, he didn't just want to give her things, right?
I think he liked her, but he wasn't totally sure. Like, he wasn't willing to invest all of his chips on that bet.
Right. And I think he over time was like, actually, you're fucking smart, girl. Yeah. And like now they're like actual colleagues, right?
I like your version of Partagaz where he's very yassified, just being girl, yes. Yeah. Oh, you get him.
Yeah, you know he's So back at the Mothmas, they prepare for more parties. Luthen brings in this super secret surprise for the bride, and we'll find out later what it is. But Luthen is so good at being an absolute ham when people are watching. where he does the real flamboyant hand in the air, and he's got a big smile on his face and everything. He's such a salesman, and everyone falls for it. And he talks to Clea, who is there with him, who's his shop assistant.
And he's like, has Cassian checked in yet?
Right.
And she's like, no.
She's like, no, I don't know where the fuck he is.
Also, I can't really send any signals from here because it would be really fucking obvious.
Yeah, also the radio here sucks.
Yeah.
And Luthen is starting to get a little worried, so he sends Clea back to Coruscant for a better radio, pretty much. And because they have a radio at the shop, it's like a real fucking serious radio. And Perrin kind of watches them knowingly from the door. He sees them talking, and he's like, what the fuck's going on? Or this is his drink.
Yeah,
he's like, what the fuck are they doing over there? Yeah.
Because Perrin, being a professional man of leisure, always has a wine glass in his hand.
Right. So Mon Mothma comes in, and Perrin, right out the gate, accuses Mon of fucking Tay Koma. He's like, so y'all are fucking, right? And she's like,
excuse me?
No, what the fuck are you talking about?
He's like, well, his wife left him. He's really depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure some hanky-panky would cheer him right up, and he knows that.
It'd probably cheer you up, too.
Yeah.
And she's like, no. And
because I know we haven't fucked in years.
Right, yeah. We fucked once in our entire marriage. So
God, that's depressing to think about.
Yeah. We find out that Tay might be freaking out about something, but we don't know what yet. We know that at the party the previous night he got so drunk he had to be taken home.
Yep.
And he seems to be kind of falling apart over something. So Brasso, back on Wheat Planet, talks to a local buddy and finds out that the Imperials are doing migrant inspections.
Yes.
And they don't want to get checked because they're wanted fugitives.
They're wanted fugitives who don't have any ID.
Right, yeah. So they're not sure yet if the Imperials are going to come to their area, but they'll know more by tomorrow. There's no word from Cassian yet. So
it's like everyone just chill, just lay low for a bit.
Yeah. So back in the forest, the rebels realize they're running out of food.
Yes.
They have like 8 meal bars left, and 3 of them are moldy, and they talk about it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Cassian points out that he's like, guys, you notice the other group hasn't made any noise recently?
Also, they don't have any food.
Right, yeah. So they probably, he's like, they're probably up to something over there. And it turns out that they are, they're just trying to figure out what to eat as well, which are these really gross melons. And
like one guy chops it up. He's like, "Here, eat it." It's like, I don't want to eat it. You eat it.
It smells like wolf pussy.
Yeah, but they're all arguing over who's going to try this incredibly foul-smelling fruit.
All right.
I cannot emphasize enough how stupid these people are.
This next scene, we finally figure out what Cyril Karn is up to.
Oh, man.
Cyril has a new job at the same job, which is at the Bureau of Standards.
Cyril has ascended to middle management, which is just absolutely perfect for the thoroughly mediocre white man that he is.
Perfect place for him. And he has this new employee. He's giving the same talk he got when he got hired. And he starts.
I sat at that desk, and I took 15 minutes out of every shift to dig through all these records and find the path. And you know what I found? I found that there were like these 4 guys who were skimming off the top.
Yeah. And
that's how I got promoted.
And because I'm a fucking narc, I turn him right the fuck in. It's like, my God, this man needs to take up a drug habit or something. Like, he is wound so tight, and he is such a fucking bootlicker that, like, it just makes you cringe.
Mm-hmm.
So Will and his girlfriend hang out, and they're uncertain about their futures together, and like Will knows that, like, he's like, we're gonna get up one day and disappear, and we'll never see each other again. So Will notices Imperials kind of in the area, headed toward I think there's like a shop right down the street,
like a truck stop.
Right. So Imperials arrive at the shop, and they're kind of the locals there are like trying to probe them for information. They're like, so where are you guys going next? How many troopers do you have, and how are you being deployed? And they're like, oh, well,
how rigorously are you checking identification?
Right. And they're like, well, you know who would be really good to answer that is the lieutenant, but he's not here now because he's over by where the storage is, and he's going to go hit on your cute lady friend. Mm-hmm. And indeed, the lieutenant,
like, Bix is doing some mechanic shit in the shed. And this lieutenant comes up and says, hey. Yeah, it's a pretty everything you got.
Yeah, it's a nice fucking fart box you got. And she's like, excuse me? who the fuck are you?
This guy is so fucking slimy.
Yeah, he really is the worst. So he hits on her, and she's like,
well,
thanks, but no thanks.
I have a husband. You don't know him. He's off planet.
Right. He's from Canada.
Yeah.
So this guy, you can tell just by looking at him, this guy is definitely the no means maybe kind of type. Mm-hmm. So we find out that transmissions on the planet are being jammed to discourage people from like running or whatever.
Because it's standard practice when the Empire runs an audit.
Which means that if Cassian tries to call, they're not going to hear him anyway, which is a big problem. So on Chandrila, they do a wedding hike, just another event in this 3-day long thing.
They just march up a fucking hill.
They've got their walking sticks and shit. Yeah, they got their funny little hats.
And at the top, there's going to be this old woman and this children's choir or something, and then they're going to have this big ceremony.
They're going to get blasted. By the way, Perrin, this is the most excitement he's had since he went on a gambling binge like a couple of years ago, right? He's loving all of it because he's like, you can tell he got up that morning and put on that goofy little hat, and he's like, fuck yeah. Yeah. I'm going to go on a fucking hike with this thing. So, Vel isn't happy Leto wants to be a trad wife. Mm-hmm. And Mon's like, girl, I'm not happy about it either. Mon does ask her about Cinta, who we know from season 1. They're Vel and Cinta are together, but their whole...
It's complicated.
Yeah, it's very complicated, and the whole philosophy is the rebellion comes first, we get whatever's left over. Mm-hmm. Cinta is dogmatically devoted to the rebellion.
She is hardcore into this shit.
I think her entire family was killed by stormtroopers, so she is in 100%. So she's like, so what about Cinta? And Vel's like, I mean, Luthen knows where she is, but he won't tell me. And if she wanted to see me, like, she knows how to fucking find me. And you know how it is. The work is more important than the relationship and shit. And Mon is sitting there like, my God, what is this life we've just come into?
Do any of us get happy endings?
Right, yeah. So back in the rainforest, Cassian's group discovers that the other group is trying to turn the TIE fighter
TIE fighter around so that they can
centimeters at a time. And we know centimeters because they fucking measure
doing
it.
Math like, well, if we do 50 centimeters an hour times 10 hours, and they're like trying to puzzle it on their hands. Cassian's like, you idiots.
The one guy's got an abacus and he's like trying to figure it out. And Cassian's,
you dumb fucks, they'll turn it 5 meters by midnight.
Yeah, and which, by the way, they might be able to do. Yeah. Like if they get 5 meters, they'll be almost there.
So like, you guys need to come up with something quick.
Right. So they slow him down by shooting at him, right? Because they have to take cover and they can't move it and shit. So, okay, we go to Dedra's apartment. She's listening to some opera. She's got her fucking hair down, and I don't understand.
She looks weird with her hair.
I don't understand how a woman like this can put her hair down and still look like her hair is up.
Yeah,
I don't know how she does it. It's insane.
It's probably her very upright posture.
Her posture is immaculate.
Behind herself,
right. So she's listening to some fucking space opera, and her and Cyril are fucking as if any of us had any. This is what I love about this. Tony Gilroy trusted that we would all just know that 5 minutes after the season finale of season 1, Cyril and Dedra in that little storeroom he brings her to, they probably fuck right there.
Dedra, girl, you can do so much better.
And so
honestly,
I think they live together, and they're kind of prepping for some. We don't know what it is yet, but they're prepping for some kind of social event that we know Cyril is dreading. Because they're like,
well, maybe we can just pretend you're off world, and we can't do it till next week.
I can get leprosy, or I don't know, chop my fucking foot off and take me to the hospital.
Yeah, just step on me really hard, break a couple ribs.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we can do that regardless of what happens tomorrow.
Maybe spit in my mouth a little bit.
Step on my ball sack with your stilettos. YouTube's like, excuse me, what'd you say?
It's fine. We didn't say the other word for sending people to the Backstreet Boys reunion.
Right.
So it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. So back on Chandrila, more wedding festivities. Mon and Take-Homa talk. There's something definitely up with him. And Luthen is watching this man like a fucking hawk.
So the gist of what Tay is talking about is like, I've lost a lot of money because of the rebels.
Yeah, they
have wiped out
yeah.
tons of my investments.
Yeah. And you know what? I did all this great stuff for you. Like, your money is laundered. It's clean as fuck. No one's ever going to find out what you did.
But my money is rapidly disappearing.
Yeah.
And I think about that, and I think, what was it all for?
Yeah. And then I start to think, well, more money is better than not enough money. And then I start thinking to myself,
who do I know that has a lot of money?
And I'm feeling a little undervalued.
It's that loan shark.
Yeah, I'm right.
Skolden, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah. And I just want to let you know I'm feeling a little undervalued, Mon Mothma. And she's like, well, first of all,
duly noted.
Yeah, I wish you had told me sooner.
I mean, we go way back. You know, I'm always here for you.
Right. And you know I'd be down to fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But tell you what, before we make any rash moves, can you come see me on Coruscant next week?
Next week,
and we can sort this all out, and we'll get you a nice arrangement.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And listen to me, and I mean this. Do not talk to fucking Skull Dune. Yeah, that opens a can of worms I don't want to deal with. Let's keep this between you and me, and we'll figure it out. Like I will figure out what will make you whole. And then we'll make it happen.
Let's keep this in the family, but not the literal family, because that now includes Skull Dune.
Right. Yeah, actually, ignore that part of my family. Because we are too. So it's becoming clear that Tay Kolma is becoming a little bit of a liability.
And right after that conversation, Luthen pulls Mon Mothma in the corner. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with
What did he say? What did he say? She's like, fuck, Luthen.
It's fine. Calm down. He's got
his blaster behind his back. He's like, you want me to fucking shoot him? I'll shoot him right now.
Like, no, God, chill out, man. Look, he just needs a little money.
He's like pulled his wig off. He's like, I'm ready.
He just needs some money. You know, we're gonna meet on Coruscant next week. We'll figure out a number. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Luthen's like, I don't believe you, but okay.
So back on Rebel Moon, they discuss avoiding the Imperials. So they're like, okay, so what happens if they come here, but we circle back to another district? And they're like, okay, so they're catching everyone who's trying to run.
Yeah.
So you're going to get caught if you try to do that. And it's by the way, it's very clear that the locals here hate the Empire, and they have no trouble lying to them about it, really any of the workers there that aren't supposed to be there. So they're like, hey, we need more information, but don't worry about it. We'll figure out a way to lie or do whatever. Clea returns to the art shop on Coruscant and pulls out her fucking hammer. By the way,
this is a great sequence of her like there's no dialogue at all. She just goes through this complicated sequence of entering the shop, and all the lights come on, and she does the unlocking thing of the radio in the back, and it's
does a couple plugs.
Yeah. It's fantastic set design and props. And
did you notice the two massive Easter eggs in this scene?
Probably not.
On display is Plo Koon's mask.
Ooh.
This is not a Keldorian mask. This is specifically Plo Koon. Yes, I checked. I found a picture of Plo Koon. I did a side by side. I did a zoom and enhance. They are the same mask, which means that
Dave Filoni's got to be real broken up about that.
Yeah, which means, by the way, because that motherfucker got blown up in a starship, they went and found his burnt husk of a body and pried his mask off. Right. The other thing is Padme's headdress from episode 2, from a scene from Star Wars episode 2.
Ooh.
Yeah. So back on Chandrila, Luthen has cornered Mothma about Tay. I think this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier. Yeah. Luthen's clearly starting to freak out. Like they know they're going to have to pay him to be quiet, which means that they'll never truly be secure, right? And Luthen says, we can't leave this be. You must know that. And Mon Mothma, you can tell this is a part of Mon Mothma's development in her life where she doesn't yet have the stomach to do the real shitty stuff, right, in the rebellion. And
she's still operating from principles.
Yeah, we'll fix it from within.
Necessity.
Right. And you know that she's going to have to develop into something more gray. And she doesn't realize it yet. And I think it's one of the beauties of how this unfolds is that you realize it with her when it happens. And it is really kind of beautiful.
You sort of see the teeter-totter going back and
forth.
Yeah. And you know someday it's going to tip over, but you just don't know what that point is going to be.
So Perrin gives his rehearsal dinner speech. And you know what? He's charming and he's kind of fun. And he doesn't embarrass his daughter, which I'm sure she's really thankful for. But the speech boils down to, look, being married sucks. But,
take it from me. Yeah. I would know.
Yes. But deal with it and try to find something to take your mind off it. Like
find the happy times.
Like gambling or drinking, like I did. And everyone's like, here. So back in the rainforest, the rebels continue yelling at each other. That's all they've done the entire time. They decide on an armistice.
Mm-hmm. They said, we're going to do a challenge.
Yeah.
Everyone comes out, puts their guns down.
And I swear to God, Chris,
pick your second.
I'm not joking here. These dumb fucks resort to a match of rock, paper, fucking scissors. But like the Star Wars version.
I broke out cackling when I realized what was happening.
And you can tell, like, Cassian's like watching from his, he's like, are they doing? Oh, they're.
You are the dumbest idiots in the galaxy.
Yeah. So while this happens, beasts attack. Like this monster just comes fucking running out of the thing.
So Cassian is sneaking around because like the one guy they left to guard him is watching the rock paper scissors. So he just kind of sneaks around and like finds this blaster hidden in part of the ship. Yeah. He's like, hey, fucking get over here, get my cuffs off. I'm gonna tie you up. And then he just starts sneaking around. And then the beasts come in, and he has his chance to break out right for the ship.
Okay, real quick, we're going to leave a couple seconds of silence in here. I need to reset something. So here's your chance to get some comments in. Chris is going to read the ones that are there already, the ones starting right here.
Oh, God.
I'll slide it over to you. I'm going to put this on real quick.
Okay.
Read. So there's the Facebook.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. What y'all have said. Tyrone says, hey guys. Hey Tyrone. Chris, can you make my shirt? No, this is my shirt. You can fight me for it. Jimmy says, g'day. Cyril is a pretty pathetic name. He never had a chance. We perhaps will get to that in episode 3 because one of our all-time favorite characters comes back for episode 3. And then... May the force be with you, Daniel and Chris. Hope you're having a good night. We're having a pretty good night, Chris. And Ahadka says they're not rebels yet. They are rabble, though. I will agree with part of that because, like, when they were first introducing, like, Cassian, picks them out as a specific rebel cell.
Yeah. Okay, we are back. So Cassian's able to get away. He's able to board the TIE fighter. He shoots a guy right in the fucking shoulder, right?
Based on the trailers and what we've seen so far, there is an awful lot of Cassian just walking into places and just shooting people immediately.
Yeah. I mean, our very first introduction to that character is him killing a couple of corporate security guards. Yeah. One of them in cold blood. Right?
No witnesses.
Yeah. So final reveal as Cassian is pulling away in the TIE fighter is that the entire time they were on Yavin 4. Which is a really neat reveal. Yeah. He pulls away. You see the Massassi temples, and you see the giant gas giant that is the Yavin gas giant. So I have a feeling that the rebels are like, okay, where do we put a base? And Cassian's like, well, I ran into these idiots.
I know this place.
Yeah, there's Yavin 4, and like aside from the idiots that were there, it's actually kind of nice. So thus brings us to episode 3 called The Harvest. So Cassian tries to fly this TIE fighter. He's really bad at it. He hasn't figured it out yet. Mm-hmm. On the Rebel Moon, by the way, if you're just joining in, this is a Zack Snyder joke. I'm very sorry if you don't get it, but
it's better that you don't get it, honestly.
Right, yeah. In fact, I wish I could go back to a time where I wouldn't have gotten it either. So they find out that the Imperials are inspecting like their area next,
and they're like, okay, so we can get this fake work order for the district 5 blocks that way, and we can sneak around and because we'll be doing legitimate work, right?
Well, they get a fake emergency order. Mm-hmm. So the emergency order looks real, but it's fake.
Yeah, like their friend had to fudge the date on it.
Right. The thing is, like, they need to leave tonight, right? They need to pack up and leave. So Mon Mothma talks to Leda right before the wedding, and she's like, "Look,
look, girl.
When I was in your spot, my mom was drunk off her motherfucking ass. I'm going to tell you the one thing that I wish that my mother told me. You don't have to do this. You don't have to get trapped into a loveless marriage. You don't have to tether yourself to a man that will end up being a gambling drunk. You do not have to end up like me." And
there's a scene we skated over in the first episode where Leda like runs off crying from the party, and Mon Mothma goes to her, and
Stekken's kind of an idiot.
Yeah, she's like, "Girl, what's wrong?" And Leda's like, "He wouldn't even hold my fucking hand."
Yeah,
like,
and Mon Mothma gives her this. You wanted to be a trad wife. Sorry.
Which that made me think there is something going on with Stekken, because like, what teenage boy would not be all up in the opportunity to like, holy shit, you mean there's this woman that I can have sex with whenever I want?
Me, a 16-year-old boy, what can I possibly not want that for? Right. Yeah.
Look, all I'm saying is this kid either has serious issues, which he should probably get therapy for, or he's gay.
Yeah.
In which case,
go marry a nice boy.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's like, you don't have to get married. Being married sucks. And then Leda
like looks like she's thinking about this,
like she's taking it in, right?
And she's like, I wish you were drunk.
Yeah, I wish you were drunk. And this really kind of, you can tell it cuts Mon Mothma kind of deep. And like, so she takes her out to get married.
That's how we're doing this.
And this wedding ceremony is very detailed. Like so much thought went into like the
it's very ornate. There's a lot of circles involved,
right? Yeah, and you can tell Chandrilan culture seems like it's pretty Japanese inspired with the outfits and the just kind of all of it. So Dedra and Cyril prepare a dinner for a guest that ends up being Cyril's mother.
Oh god.
And it is every bit
this fucking woman,
the awkward, passive aggressive, cringy event that you could possibly imagine. And his mom hasn't met Dedra before, and so they meet. And this actor, by the same actor that plays Miss Figgins in Harry Potter, she was in season 1 as well. Miss Figgins, right?
I think.
Yeah, I think that's right. It's Harry's neighbor. Yeah.
So she walks in, sees Dedra, is like, "Oh, you don't look like how I expected you to." And Dedra's like,
"That's
okay.
great."
And she's like, "Don't you want to know what I thought you would look like?" And
No.
Dedra's like, "No,
no, I don't.
No, I do not."
Yeah. I wasn't gonna ask, honestly. Cyril's mask starts slipping almost immediately when she's like, "Oh, I want some spiced tea," and he does the thing. You can tell his tone. It's when you talk to family when you're just kind of aghast. And he's like, when the fuck did you start drinking spiced tea? And
the same way you might ask your mother when she started smoking weed or doing crack cocaine.
You're right, yeah. Oh, maybe that's what she meant by spiced tea.
Yeah.
Because in the Star Wars universe, spice
means something very different.
Uh-oh, Edie's on heroin. So Clea gets a message on her fancy radio from Cassian. He gives her a sit rep, and he's like, I don't know what the ship is. I don't know how to fly it.
This call made me laugh at first because like they start with this coded language like, give me the weather report.
Right.
Where are you?
Yeah.
And they eventually just devolved to Cassian like being, what do you mean the Empire is at fucking Rebel Moon?
Right, because he's like, I need to call home. And she's like, oh,
you cannot do that,
sir. You can't. And he's like, why? Is there something wrong?
No. He's like, I'm gonna call him. Yeah. She's like, no.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna change the channel.
Yeah. So Cyril and his mom and Dedra are having this like weird fondue dinner.
Yeah.
His mom is embarrassing him right and left, calling him a little bitch
delicate
and everything. Right. Yeah. She
mentioning
of course,
Uncle Harlow.
Yeah. She of course name drops Uncle Harlow, which I think she does in every scene in the first season. And we find out that Dedra's parents were criminals and that she was raised in an Imperial Kinderblock, a very Nazi-sounding thing, by the way. She makes fun of Cyril for his penchant at playing cop on Morlana.
Which, in fairness, did not go very well.
Yeah, this really strikes a nerve. And Cyril gets up and he goes to take a nap on his bed.
No, he's not even taking a nap. He's just sort of flopped over on the bed.
Face plants onto the bed. Yeah.
Like he's just given up on life for a few minutes.
Which
I get.
Yeah, no, in this moment becomes one of the most relatable men in the universe, right? It's like every time my in-laws come over, I like walk into my room and I close the door. I'm just like... Usually I don't have headphones on though, so that doesn't happen. But I get it.
Like so while Cyril's out of the room, Dedra's like, okay, bitch. This is how it's going to be.
Oh, this is great.
Number one, don't fucking mention Uncle Harlow, because he's a fucking criminal.
Yeah, she's like, I looked into Uncle Harlow, motherfucker, and that's not a story you should be telling people. In fact, if I see him, I'm arresting him. So
that's number one. Number two, you are going to stop fucking bothering Cyril.
Yeah, she's like, look at me. I'm the mommy now.
Yeah.
And
we can work this out. Like, you will get to see Cyril like twice a month.
Yes.
I will make sure he goes over there.
The condition, though, is that you don't fucking annoy me.
You are not going to be a bitch to him. You're not going to be passive aggressive. You're not going to put him down. You're just going to be a good mother.
Just don't be an asshole.
Just don't be terrible.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
Just don't be terrible, and I won't have to sick the entire ISB on you.
Right, yeah.
Like, we can invent a crime to arrest you for, motherfucker.
Yep.
Don't test me.
We have no trouble making up crimes.
Yeah.
So Cyril walks in, and all of a sudden Edie is like super nice to him and shit. And he looks at Daedra and was like, "What the fuck
what did
here?
You do?"
Yeah. He sits down real cautiously and is like, "Is everything okay?" After the wedding, Leda is presented with her super secret gift, which is a rare statue from 25,000 years ago when the Rakatan invaders sacked Shangri-La.
Deep cut.
A real deep cut, especially if you're into the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, right? So on Rebel Moon, Planet Wheat, the group starts packing because they're going to start moving out at sundown. Still no word from Cassian, and it's starting to freak everyone out. So, at the party, Luthen has his eyes on Tay the entire time, right? Mm-hmm. And Tay talks to Mon Mothma again, and he starts pressing harder about how unhappy he is. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I think I'm going to go talk to Skull Dune, and this is not good for Mon Mothma or Luthen. And, Mon Mothma's starting to realize a little bit where this is going.
Yep.
Leda and Stekken, which, by the way, what an unfortunate name.
Yeah.
Stekken. They have their first dance.
Yep. And it's very traditional. And they
do a little prance.
You can tell she practiced this at Tradwife
right.
Camp.
Yep. So they bring in the DJ droid, and it turns into a proper party.
I cannot wait until the soundtrack for the season comes out, just so I can get this song.
So some of it's it's all really good. Yeah. So Mon Mothma talks to Luthen and starts to realize
she's like, okay, look, it's not a problem. Like, I'm talking to him next week. We'll get a number. It's gonna be fine. He's like, you are so naive, baby girl.
Luthen's
I've already got this dealt with.
Yeah.
You don't even need to worry your pretty little head about it.
Yeah, Luthen's like, things will be done. Yes. And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And he says, how lucky
That's
for you.
good.
Yeah. And so Mon goes and finds the bartender and is like, shots. I'm doing shots. Yeah.
Throws back 3 or 4 shots and starts dancing.
And she starts dancing. And the way they shoot the last part of this episode is so brilliant because we switch back and forth between what's happening on Planet Wheat and at the party. And even at one point, Mon Mothma just progressively gets more and more into the dance, I think trying to block everything out because she knows what's about to happen. And it's a crime against her morality. Yeah. And even Perrin looks at her and is like, what the fuck is wrong with this girl?
She does not drink and dance that
much.
Right, yeah. That's what I usually do.
Yeah. So, and go lose at blackjack a whole bunch. Yeah. So, back on Planet Wheat, they realize they can't wait until sundown.
They got to go right now.
The Imperials are coming now, but
Will is off talking to his girlfriend.
He's off making out with his girlfriend. He's not ready to go, so Brasso gets on the speeder
to go get him
and starts racing toward him. Will realizes the Imperials are coming, but can't get to his bike in time.
Mm-hmm. So he just fucking takes off running through the wheat.
Right. Brasso tries. Brasso does more or less what happens when I play stealth games, which is he starts to sneak around and is immediately caught.
Immediately caught by stormtroopers.
Which, by the way, Brasso, big fucking guy, not built for stealth. That's he should have known.
Yeah.
He would have been better with a shield, just going straight in. Mm-hmm. And so the stormtroopers catch him, and he's held prisoner. Meanwhile, the lieutenant makes a visit to Bix, and things get real fucking gross. And he at first is trying to be charming, but it's clear why he's there.
Eventually, he gets to the point of it won't suck itself.
Yeah, and so everything is fine though because Bix gives him enough head trauma for him to just die, which is always really fun, right?
Yeah, she beats the shit out of him and grabs a hammer and beats him on the head, and he just walks out the door and keels over dead.
Yeah. By the way, they use the R word for the first time in Star Wars ever. I hesitate to say it because of YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is by the way, I meant to say this at the top of this episode. There should have been a sexual assault content warning at the beginning of this one.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of discussions online about how this is kind of the well that filmmakers kind of come back to make a bad guy like really despicable,
irredeemable, yeah.
And how like maybe they should just lay off on the essay stuff and find different ways. But it's what they did, right? And
it's also believable.
Yeah,
like soldiers throughout history have done shitty things like this.
Yeah.
So it is
with that much authority. And sure, yeah.
It is extremely believable to me that this would happen.
Right, but she tells the guy that's there guarding the door, like, you know, he and she uses the R word, and I appreciate that they called it what it was.
Yeah,
which is kind of nice. So his buddy guarding the door
has called in help.
Yeah, he's like, so the lieutenant went to go do what the lieutenant does, and he's dead now.
Yeah.
So, back up, I think.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, so, and this is right around when Cassian shows up in his TIE fighter, which, by the way, I love that the design of this TIE fighter has a holographic overlay of the cockpit windshield, because he comes in, and then he sees the cruiser
and there's like
in
a targeting reticle on it.
And by the way, I think he must have stopped somewhere and like tested and like took a few minutes to figure out the controls, because like he's like kind of better.
He's flying it way better now.
Right. So
he does a strafing run and takes out one of the stormtrooper carriers.
Well, there's that troop transport, and he just like, and all the Imperials are like, TIE fighter, and he's like, no,
fires one missile,
blows the whole fucking thing up. Yeah. So Brasso
takes this opportunity to run over, hop on his speeder, and take off.
It just fucking hauls ass. And is tragically Brasso is killed.
There's 5 stormtroopers there. They're shooting after him, and the way this is shown, like, you think Cassian gets all the stormtroopers, and then he lands and he runs over and finds Brasso, and Brasso is like under his toppled speeder and not breathing.
An extraordinary moment, by the way, where he holds Brasso in his arms, and these are more and more ticks. All these events are, and all the people that they've lost.
Diego Luna selling the hell out of this scene.
And you can tell, like, every one of these losses that they take becomes a bullet that they intend to fire back. And so he gets Bix and Will, and they get on the TIE fighter.
No BMO.
Yeah, well, because they left him with Talia. I think Talia, or whatever her name is. Talia al Ghul.
And they load up on the TIE fighter, which conveniently has 2 passenger seats, and they get the fuck out.
Yeah, and they fuck off. And that's the end of the episode. And
well, I think, is that the end? Because I thought there's more Mon Mothma dancing.
Well, no. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot. Okay, Mon Mothma's dancing. While Take Homa, and just let me go there.
Oh god, yes.
Take Homa walks out to get into his car, and the driver there isn't the driver he expects. And the woman who is there is like, "Oh, your driver was sick. I'm so sorry. I'm here to sub for him. I'm so glad I found you, because it's my first time I've done this." And Vel is walking past and discovers that the new driver is Cinta. And Cinta looks over at Vel like, "I'm gonna kill this motherfucker."
And they make eye contact. They know what's going on,
but they can't say anything to each other.
They're both undercover, so they can't do anything.
Right. And Cinta loads that motherfucker up into the speeder and drives away,
and he goes off to the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
And you like, that dude is getting whacked. And you know it
has been revoked.
So the end of the episode. Next week will be another 3-episode drop.
We have seen a lot of the trailer footage. Like, I would say at least 70%.
I think. So what else have we?
Because like we haven't seen Saw Gerrera yet.
Right.
Saw Gerrera had that cool scene.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Cassian's "You want to fight or you want to win" scene yet.
Okay, yeah. There's other shit that we haven't.
Yeah, there's other little bits and pieces that I'm not thinking of right now. But.
So I went back and watched one of the Andor season 1 trailers because I wanted to see. I like to see how they come to the decision on what they put in the trailers. Mm-hmm. And they, you know how season 1 is kind of like cordoned off into 3 little acts, and in that trailer they put a little something from all of them in it. Like there's a little bit of the footage of the prison break in there, and like a little bit of Saw Gerrera and all that other shit. Mm-hmm. So, Brasso, fucking Godspeed, buddy. What a great character. One of my favorite moments in season 1 is when that Imperial shoves B2 over, and Brasso just goes
hits him with a brick.
With his brick, and he's like, ah! And this is the whole thing just like explodes. And
one other note. Well, I'll let you finish this.
Yeah, that was it. No, Brasso's a badass, and it hurts that he died, but you know, it's like I said, this is just another bullet that they're gonna load in their gun. And they're coming after the Empire.
One maybe inconsequential thought I had about the trailer is that like when they showed the dancing scenes from the wedding in the trailer, it was a little bit deceptive because it looked almost like this, you know, coordinated folk dance or whatever. Yeah. But no, it's a fucking rave.
Oh like, no, they are
getting
down.
Drunk.
Yeah.
They are fucking partying.
Yes.
It's like every wedding reception you've ever been to, basically.
Right. Which I have hated all of them, by the way. I hate events like that.
Well, you're a hermit.
Yeah. I couldn't even finish watching Rebel Moon. Such pish. My eyes have yet to stop bleeding. I know I made Chris watch it, and I felt really bad about it.
I still have not forgiven you.
We watched the sequel even, I think.
Which only got made because it was already done by the time the first one released.
Daedra kicking Mother from hell into touch was all sorts of perfect. The whole scene was even more lush than the food looked.
Some people leave their work at work and are able to come home and just turn that off. Daedra is not one of those people.
Nope.
Like, she is ISB to the core.
Yep. And you know she's like running background checks on all the women from Cyril's past.
Like all of his coworkers she has investigated.
Yeah. So, okay.
Is it Last of Us time?
It is, and I'm really excited about this one because this is really good as well. This is one of the reasons this is going to be tough for a few weeks because we have The Last of Us is running, which is also in its own right an amazing story for nerdy guys like us who like stories like this, and I'm so happy to talk about this because I'm a huge fan of the game and everything. We're probably not going to do a spoiler free for this. So if you've not seen The Last of Us season 2 episode 2,
go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it and come back.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it is really, really good.
And also apparently diverges from the game quite considerably.
Not too much. Not a ton.
Are you sure?
Yes,
because if we're in spoilers now, I was told that the whole undead or zombies attacking Jackson doesn't even happen in the game.
No, it doesn't. But there is an event like that. Like there is like a little attack.
Okay.
And the way that the group composition is different in the game. I don't see the zombie attack on Jackson. I don't see as a huge divergence from the game. Because it's something that very easily could happen. Yeah. And there's stuff like
it's also just kind of an excuse to throw a Game of Thrones like battle scene in there.
No, this was the Hard Home episode for The Last of Us, and like it kind of balances because in the first game there is a zombie attack on Jackson that they have to defend against. Mm-hmm. So it kind of balances out that it's kind of happening here. To get into the Last of Us kind of mood, the season premiere was the previous week. Mm-hmm. We get back into touch with Joel and Ellie, who are living in Jackson now.
Joel still hasn't told Ellie what he did,
right?
And even though Ellie can tell he's got something going on,
right. And we know that Abby is
out to kill Joel.
Yeah, she's out to get Joel. We don't really know why. Excuse me. So the episode opens on a dream sequence from Abby, who is going through the same hall that Joel shot himself through. when he attacked the fireflies.
When he killed all the fireflies.
And there's another version of her kind of like waiting there.
Yep. Stand there like, don't go in there.
Yeah, she's trying to convince herself.
You don't want to go in there. You're going to see some brains on the floor. Yeah. It's really fucking gross.
This is actually really heart-wrenching, the way she says it. Because her younger self looks at her and says, his brains are on the floor. And that version of Abby refuses to believe it. And because the version of Abby that's walking down the hallway is like the 19-year-old version of Abby, and then the one trying to tell her not to go in there is like present day older Abby. And she goes into the room. We don't see what she sees, but
she wakes up.
Yeah. So she wakes up from her dream. So they're taking shelter in a lodge.
Yep, that overlooks Jackson.
Yeah, it's not too far from Jackson.
And it's daylight now, which it wasn't, previously. So she gets up there and sees Jackson, and she's like, shit, it's an entire fucking city inside a fortress.
Yeah, this is way worse than we thought. Yeah, it's not just a tent town. We thought it'd just
be a fucking tent city with some generators. Right. Like, they have power lines and like these
great
20-foot tall walls with like 4 locking gates.
Yeah,
like
overlapping.
How the fuck are we? Like, they have dogs. How are we going to get in there?
Yeah, they have overlapping patrols, which means they have veterans down there. They're training their soldiers or whatever, and they mention that the Chekhov's dogs, which end up being the heroes of this episode, which I was very, very happy about. Abby mentions as an idea capturing a patrol and interrogating them, and the rest of the group is like, what
are we gonna do with them after?
Yeah, and she's like, kill them, and she's like, no, Abby,
no, Abby, no. We signed up to kill one dude.
Yeah, we're
not killing anyone else.
Yeah. So Ellie wakes up to a pounding on the door from Jesse, who is there to get her up early for a patrol. And
well, first he's like, see, you had a really fucking exciting night, didn't you? And she's like, shit, I didn't mean to kiss Dina. She was just
Dina
there.
Kissed me.
She kissed me. And
he's
Jesse's
like, I
didn't know she did that. Yeah. Like, oh, fuck. And Jesse's like, I'm just fucking with you.
I don't care. I don't give a shit about you and Dina. What the fuck ever. And Ellie's like, you're the fucking worst. Get out of my house. So Ellie talks to Jesse about, because they're on their way to patrol. She talks to Jesse about her baggage with Joel, and she's like, look, it has been really bad at times, but we're always going to be Ellie and Joel. Like, nothing's ever going to change that. And I think what we're going to find out in an episode down the road, so at the end of the first episode, Ellie comes home. Joel is on the
porch, and she just walks past him.
But she doesn't, though. And in the game, they talk.
Yeah.
They have this conversation.
Yeah, they have elided that scene for the moment.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see this conversation, and I think that there was... I think that they kind of reconciled a little bit, and to the point to where Ellie's like, I actually want to go on patrol with Joel, and
Jesse's like, well, bad news. Yeah. Joel went out earlier with Dina.
Yeah, and it's not because he loves Dina more than you. He just wanted you to sleep in because he knew you had a hard night. So Jesse,
a long night, not necessarily a hard night.
So Jesse mentions that he's like, okay, so the whole town's on alert because they found some frozen infected being used as insulation by other infected, and we don't know what they're up to or how many there are.
Also, somebody, and I'm not pointing any fingers here, but somebody told the high muckety mucks this really fanciful story about an infected that could think.
Yeah, and she's like, fuck you, that was real, I saw it.
He's like, I'm not naming any names here, but
So Tommy, Joel's brother, runs through the emergency procedures with the town, and
Chekhov's emergency procedures.
Yeah. So the kids and the elderly
go down in the basement, lock the door, don't come out until you get the all clear.
Right. So the basements have been specially fortified to withstand an attack from infected. And
everyone
all the
who
other
can shoot a gun either gets up on the wall, or gets up on top of the houses and shit.
All the able bodies to the roof, and if there's a breach, stay the fuck off Main Street.
Yes. Very important. You do not want to be on Main Street.
Right. So, Seth apologizes to Ellie
Ellie is not having any of this. By the way,
this is exactly how it is in the game.
She's only there because Mrs. Tommy
Maria,
dragged her up, and is like, "You're gonna stand here while he apologizes."
Yeah. Which, by the way, his apology is very genuine and is a good apology.
I think he's trying.
Yeah, because it wasn't just I'm sorry.
I'm sorry if you were offended.
Right. He's
said, like, genuinely, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, and I should not have thought it.
I shouldn't have thought it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Ellie's like,
okay, whatever.
Fuck you, and walks away.
Yeah. Water off a duck's ass. And he's like, I made you these steak sandwiches. And she's like, I'll take those.
Well, actually, she walks away without the sandwiches.
And Maria grabs
Jesse.
Jesse, right. So, back at the lodge, Abby is taking a watch in the cold.
Yep.
And she's out freezing her tits off.
She walks out, and like one of the guys is like, "Don't worry, I'm working on a plan. We're gonna work this out." She walks out.
What does he say? I have
the beginning of a plan or something. And everyone else, everyone else looks at him and is like, "You don't actually have a plan, do you?" He's like, "I do have a plan.
I do have a plan.
The plan is we convince her to leave before we all get killed.
The plan is we tell Abby she's being fucking crazy, and we all go back home to Seattle, where it's much warmer than it is here." And they're like, "That's not a bad plan.
That is a good plan."
Except that Abby is in fact insane, and so that's never going to work. So she goes on watch, and she sees a pair of horses on patrol with people on them, obviously. Yep. And she's like, "Ooh, I'm going to follow those guys." Yep. So she starts following,
skittering down the mountain.
By skittering, you mean a barely controlled slide down the mountain.
She's not doing too well.
Yeah. So a thing that's happening that's kind of like it's adding some anxiety to everything that's happening is that the weather is getting worse.
Yes. There is a big blizzard. Like Jesse and Ellie see it as they're coming out, and Ellie's like, "Should we be worried about that?" And Jesse's like, "Nah, it'll stay up in the mountains. We're fine."
Turns out it's not staying in the mountains. No, it's coming straight for Jackson.
Turns out that after the zombie apocalypse, one of the things you really miss are meteorologists.
Right. So they call back all patrols, but Ellie and Jesse are too far away. Yep. So Jesse's like, "I know a place. It's Eugene's 7-Eleven Weedporium." And so they find this. They stuff the horses into a garage.
Yep, and then head inside. And Ellie's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yes. By the way, I like how when they put the horses in the garage, and this one horse, and they're like real horses, like sees a stack of hay and is like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Oh, fuck
and starts eating it. Yeah,
chomping.
So they find Eugene, who was married to Katie O'Hara's character from the first episode
before Joel sent him to the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Right. Was whole
growing
dispensary,
a ton of pot inside this abandoned 7-Eleven.
Right. So the show is setting up a little bit of a mystery about Eugene. Now, just like Frank and the other one, Bill
and Frank.
Most of what you learn in the first game about them is through like letters that you find, and it is similar about Eugene in the second game, where they're changing his character a little bit. In the game, he dies of natural causes, and they're kind of setting up this mystery about Eugene, and we know that Eugene is going to be in future episodes. He's played by the same guy that plays Cypher in The Matrix.
Oh, okay.
And
he's a former Firefly.
Yeah, former Firefly. Which they develop his character a little bit. He and Tommy served in the Fireflies together, and it was like, "Look, I'm tired of murdering people, so I'm going to stop doing that." And then they talk a little bit about Eugene's end, and Jesse pretty much is like, "What are you going to do? Like, you couldn't be saved," which means to me that he got bit. Yeah. And then had to be shot. So Abby stumbles into an infected nest, and this is so fucking cool. There's this frozen clicker that's sticking out of the fucking snow, and it starts to like twist in place, and it's so like creepy and weird.
She's like, "Oh fuck!"
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna step away very slowly."
Delicately try to leave.
So infected just start popping out of the snow like fucking daisies,
and then she fucking turns and runs.
Books ass, yeah. So Abby, who is now being chased by an entire like horde of infected, gets to the copper mine where Joel and Dina were doing their patrol. And there's this iconic moment from the game where this piece of fence falls over onto Abby, and you have to she has to crawl. In the game, you're controlling Abby at the time, and she has to crawl through it while like it's harrowing and really cool.
And they capture that really well, because that is a genuinely uncomfortable scene to watch.
And they shoot it so that it's more claustrophobic too, because they do this tracking shot inside the fence, and it makes the space feel so small and so long, and it's just really cool. So she gets out, but an infected is jumps on her and
about to bite her, and then
fucking a 6-shooter
from out of scene. A 6-shooter shows up, blows it away. Like we hear from Abby's perspective, where she's like temporarily deafened from the
she
shot.
got the tinnitus in her ear,
and you can hear someone yelling, "Come on, we need to go! Come on, take my hand, come on!"
And it turns out it's Joel.
Yep.
And so he saves her, and they run into the building, right? Mm-hmm. And they get into the building, and Abby hears Dina refer to Joel.
Yeah. Like, Joel, what are we gonna do?
And
Joel, hey girl, who we don't know yet. This is Joel, my friend.
Yeah.
Hey, Joel, what are we going to do?
By the way, and I don't know if I've mentioned this, his first name is Joel. And
as you can tell, he's in his 50s, kind of attractive.
Handsome, scar on his right temple,
Yep.
And
are you keeping a checklist of all these things? And should I say them a little louder?
Yeah. Oh, and have I mentioned his name is Joel? And it's a big moment where she doesn't have her gun. And then she sees that Joel has a gun.
Yeah, Abby has this moment where, you can see she's sort of calculating all
She's like,
this.
maybe I can kill the motherfucker right now.
Maybe I can kill him, but also there's a billion zombies out there. Right. Maybe I shouldn't.
Yeah. So she starts to mention... She starts to play the part.
They're like, okay, we need to get out of here, but there's a blizzard out there, but we can't stay here. And Abby's like, the lodge. Like, my friends are just up the hill. We just need to ride up and get to them.
We've got guns, and we can we can help fight. Back at the 7-Eleven Weedporium, Ellie finds a bong gas mask, which she looks at.
She's like, I am so taking this.
She looks at Jesse and just stuffs it in her bag. She's like, I'm keeping this. So in Jackson, that water main from the first episode with the cordyceps is disturbed by a worker, which means that because
he sees the mushroom doing his little thing, and he's like,
okay.
Tommy!
Yeah, wait, somebody go get Tommy. Because we know that the way that cordyceps works in the show, in the game, they do lots of spores, which I think, based on the trailer, they're doing spores as well, but they didn't do spores in the first season. Mm-hmm. But a big way of how they communicate is they can have tendrils miles away that you touch, and it communicates with everything, right? Yeah. And so he knows, all the infected in the area are going to know that there's something there that's worth coming to check out.
Yeah.
There is this brilliant moment where this giant horde is chasing Abby and Joel and Dina, and then there's another horde running down the mountain toward Jackson. And then the one horde gets diverted.
Turns and U-turns the other way.
And both of the hordes merge, and they're all running toward Jackson.
Straight to Jackson.
Yeah. This lone watchman looks out with his binoculars, and he sees the approaching horde.
It's fucking Return of the Jedi when the rebel guy in the trench is looking out with those binoculars, and he sees the one walker foot.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And pans up and sees the walker, and then sees all the other walkers.
Yeah, that's Empire Strikes Back. But yeah,
that's what I said.
You said Return of the Jedi. It's fine. Okay. It doesn't matter. So they've obviously drilled for this. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows what to do.
So they ring the bells, and all the kids and elderly go in the basement. And everyone else gets their guns.
I love how Tommy gets up on the wall with his gun. Everyone's real nervous about what's happening. Mm-hmm. Everyone's kind of freaking themselves out. And Tommy screams Jackson Hole. And it's a rallying call, and it's kind of beautiful a little bit because this is a communist town that is their form of government, and their community is the most important. The community is the most important thing. So screaming the name of the town as a rallying call was kind of I wish more things were like that, Mm-hmm. So the frontline infected crash against the gate.
Yep.
And I like this look on Tommy, because everyone's like, "Oh shit, what was that?" And Tommy's like, "Oh, thank God it held," because they're really counting on the wall not to collapse.
So they have this really cool defensive strategy where they have these barrels of gasoline, that they send off on these little bouncy slides that fall down there, and then they all shoot up the barrels a whole bunch. And then Tommy grabs a torch. He's like, "Guess what time it is, motherfuckers!"
Yep.
And throws the torch down there, and everything explodes and lights on fire.
Yeah, this is the bit of the episode that has Game of Thrones DNA all through it. They do so the gasoline thing. They make sure that the tanks or the drums are thrown behind that front line of infected, so that when they explode them, it catches that group of infected, and then all of the other rushing infected has to run through the fire to get there as well. It's really clever.
Yeah.
Fucking great explosions. It's one of those moments that you cheer. Like you're like, oh fuck,
and they're just mowing down infected.
Oh yeah, because it's a kill box. They're just fucking going
and
through
for
it,
a second you think, okay, things are going to be okay.
Right.
And then you see this absolute unit of a fucking 10-foot tall, covered in mushrooms guy coming towards the fence, and Tommy's like, well shit, they're about to breach.
Oh yeah, they're about to get in this motherfucker.
You know Main Street, that place where I told everyone to not be? I'm going to go down there and strap on a flamethrower.
Right, yeah. So that's a special kind of zombie called a bloater from the game. One of them shows up in
Season 1.
Yeah. It's the episode with Shauna from Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, what was that? Kansas City? Missouri?
I think so, yeah.
I think so.
And that motherfucker comes out of the ground and grababs the guy and just rips him in half, right? It's real gross. So Joel and Dina see Jackson on fire, right? And Abby convinces them because Joel wants to turn around right there, and he's like, I have to go back.
But also, it's the middle of a blizzard.
Right, and she's like, look.
Your horse will freeze before you reach the first marker.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you in hell, yeah. So Abby convinces them to continue to the lodge. He's like, we'll go to the lodge.
We'll
get
warm
the
you
guns.
up. We'll get some guns. We'll get my friends, and we'll go help.
Yeah. So the horde redirects, and you can hear that bloater in the distance. And Tommy knows they're about to breach. So Tommy retreats to Main Street. He puts his fucking flamethrower on. The zombies breach. They run in. 2 of the 4 of those flamethrower guys just fucks off.
Yeah.
They get scared and run away.
I do not blame them because I would not want to be on flamethrower detail.
Right. But
also
on the other side of that,
this is kind of what you signed up for.
Yes, maybe you shouldn't have volunteered for flamethrower duty.
Yeah.
So the horde breaches. They swarm Main Street. Some break into the buildings
and start going up to the roofs.
Right.
And
they don't get past the reinforced doors to the basement because they're kind of built to withstand that. And the shooters on the roof do a pretty good job as well of holding everything back. So Maria, Tommy's wife, fires at the bloater who's just like stalking down Main Street and shit. Gets his attention, and the bloater's like, I'm gonna go get that motherfucker right now.
Tommy's like, oh no, you don't.
No, he's like, that's my lady.
No.
And so he distracts him.
Starts
and
yelling,
he
shoots
runs
his
away.
handgun at him, and
so the bloater's like, oh fuck it, I'll tear that guy apart.
Yeah.
And so Tommy runs into an alley, and then realizes that the alley is
there's
all
no
blocked
way
off.
out.
Right.
Okay. I have this flamethrower strapped to my back. How do you like fire, big Mr. Mushroom Man?
Right. And they ramp the tension up really well because you know that he's got limited fuel for the flamethrower, and he runs out. And it ended up being that he had just enough fuel to kill this bloater.
Yeah.
So right before he's about to swipe at him, he just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna die. Yeah. So he like looks down and realizes he's pissed his pants, and he's like, all right, and he takes his gun out.
You know, at least I'm alive.
Yeah. So Maria fucking runs to the dog kennel and releases the dogs.
Releases the hounds.
These dogs are not here to fuck around. And this is what is terrifying about dogs in capacities like this, because if you've ever seen police dogs do work like this, it is just like this, where they leap with such ferocity that your center of gravity is thrown off and you just get taken right down to the ground, and they do not stop biting your neck until you stop moving. It's insane.
We think of dogs as these like friendly, cuddly creatures,
and they are.
They're very furry and lovable. They are also not that very far removed from being wolves.
Yeah, they're predators, and they are very good. And I
mean, you have 2 dogs who kill any small mammal that wanders into your
They
yard.
are very good at killing things.
Yeah.
They are built for it. Like that's what they do.
That is what they do.
And these dogs are the same, and I love that they don't show any of them dying, which is really great. I think we find out in the game that dogs can get bitten by the infected, and they can they can carry the cordyceps, but it doesn't turn them into zombies. So they just become carriers or whatever. Yeah. But they don't show any of the dogs dying or anything, which would have really kind of ruined my day.
Would have really ruined the mood.
Yeah. So back at the lodge. Oh God. Just give me a second.
Yeah, this scene is rough.
This happens in the game, by the way. It's in the first 10th of the game, and what we're about to talk about sent such a shockwave through all the fans of the game that I think no one really knew how to digest it. And I believe that it was kind of the right thing to do, because it creates this intense sorrow.
For the story they wanted to tell, it was absolutely essential, and it's
So
a very powerful scene.
Yeah. So back at the lodge, Joel and everyone arrives. Dina notes that their bags have WLF patches, which I know stands for the Western Liberation Front. Joel is anxious to get back to Jackson.
Yeah, Joel is looking out the window at Jackson, trying to radio back to them, trying to get some.
As a result, Joel is distracted and is not watching what's happening in the room with him. Abby introduces them. She's like, "Hey, this is Dina, and this is Joel." And this quiet just
all
goes
the
over.
Fireflies are like, oh.
Yeah, it gets impossibly quiet, but Joel is so worried about what's happening.
He's so preoccupied. He's still trying to radio back.
Manny takes Dina hostage. Joel realizes, he turns around, he realizes he's cornered. Abby is like, I'm gonna make you a deal. I'm gonna ask you a question, and if you tell me the truth, we're not gonna kill your other daughter figure.
Your friend here.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw the Fireflies? And you can tell Joel, like, I don't think Joel would have lied about it anyway, but he's starting to put together a little bit what's happening. And he's like, yeah, the last time I saw Fireflies was in Salt Lake when I killed a bunch of them. And they give Dina some, I think it's propofol, to knock her out for an hour. And then Abby turns around with a fucking shotgun and blasts Joel right in the leg. Just knocks him right the fuck over. And she monologues a lot.
Yeah, she spends like 4 or 5 minutes telling Joel, so that doctor you sent to the Backstreet Boys reunion tour, that was my dad.
Yeah.
Not cool, by the way.
Yeah. That really made me upset.
That really grinded my gears.
Yeah.
And as a result, I'm going to grind your gears.
Yeah. And I like how, like, she takes another breath for the next part of her monologue, and Joel just goes, "Would you shut the fuck up and do what you brought me here to do?" And this really triggers Abby.
In the corner of the room, she sees this bag of golf clubs.
Yeah.
And she just selects the 9-iron and says, "You don't get to choose what's happening here.
You don't get to rush this." Yeah. And she starts beating him with that golf club. Ellie arrives at the lodge. Which, by the way, we forgot to mention.
So Ellie and Jesse have been riding out. They heard on the radio that Joel and Dina hadn't checked in. So they see the tracks and follow it up the hill to the lodge.
Right. So she walks in on Abby beating Joel, and she tries to shoot her immediately. Yeah. I mean, gun out. She's like ready to shoot her. The other Fireflies are able to restrain her, but not before she cuts Manny right across the fucking face with her pocket knife. And they get her down on the floor and restrain her, and it's this heart-wrenching moment where Joel is already pretty much
Joel
dead.
Is gone.
Yeah. And she's begging Joel to get up, and during,
you can tell Abby has been working on him for a while because she is exhausted but still punching him.
Yeah, and he's just barely
he is conscious and desperately wishes he was not.
Yeah. So while Abby was beating him with the 9-iron, it broke, and she picks up the part of the metal handle with the sharp point on it. And while Ellie walks over and drives the motherfucker right into his neck. And we don't see this in the game. We see her beat him and hit him really hard in the head. But most of his body isn't even on screen. We see like a blood spurt and we see like a finger twitch. But the way they shot this, because the second she drives it, all the sound stops, and you can see that part of Ellie's mind that just breaks a little bit. And she starts screaming, and she promises all of them. She's like, "Every one of you motherfuckers is gonna die. Like, I'm going to kill every single one of you." And it's like, I wonder if Abby had any idea what she just started, if she maybe would have made a different decision.
There is no way.
Yeah.
She could possibly known.
Because she has started a fight that I think, looking at Ellie, she might have underestimated her a little bit. But you can see there's a part of her, Ellie, there's something that breaks. And after they leave her there, and after they leave, Ellie crawls over to Joel, and it's heartbreaking because she curls up next to him. And we know, and I think it was in a podcast after the episode, I think the writer of this episode mentions that because Ellie was kicked so hard, that she might have assumed that she was also going to die and wanted to die next to Joel.
Or maybe she just wanted to die right there.
Yeah.
Because what's the point?
Right. And that's how the episode ends. And
well, actually, we see like a montage of other shots, including like Jesse and Dina and Ellie riding back to town.
Oh, with his body.
With his body. Yeah. There's one shot in this closing montage that really sticks with me, which is there's two people up on the wall. One guy is like sitting down, leaning against something.
Right.
And he just rolls up his sleeve and shows this bite mark. Yeah. And then just hands over his pistol to the other guy.
Yeah.
And you don't, like, the camera pans past it before you see the shot go off. Yeah. But like, that just really drives home the reality of this world. Yeah.
It's pretty bleak. And we know from trailers they kind of they deal a little bit with the fallout from the battle, and then there's going to be a pretty significant time jump coming up here pretty quick, I think, in the next episode. I think it ends up being like 4 or 5 years that they skip, or at least a couple of years. So yeah, it's one of those episodes, and I knew it was coming because I've seen playthroughs of the game, and they made it even more visceral in the show than it was in the game. And it's one of those decisions that when they were making the second game, they really made a swing because Joel was a fan favorite, but there's something about when you commit to something like this. I mean, you feel real grief about it because you've kind of like
we spent all this time with this character,
right? You've fallen in love with him, and he's so likable, and Pedro Pascal is just he played him so well, and I think it's one of the reasons that like there are a lot of people that were upset about what happened in the game, and I think the reason why is because they didn't know how to face their grief over their favorite character dying, and I think that in itself is some really beautiful storytelling. And I wish people would realize that those feelings they're feeling, that's what the intention was. You're supposed to feel this immense grief for the death of this character.
Yeah, the whole scene with Joel, I haven't seen it in the game, so I don't know how it played out there, but I felt like it was about as tasteful as you can do a brutal revenge killing like that.
Oh, sure. It wasn't gratuitous.
It wasn't a Saw movie or anything like that. But it was also brutal and visceral, and
the fact that Ellie had to watch.
Yeah.
It's because I think in the game she doesn't see him die. She wakes up and he's already dead.
Yeah, it's harrowing.
Yeah. So man, it's one of those episodes. And let me tell you, if you're a fan of the game and you've played it or you've seen it, you know that this starts this violent exchange of terrible things that these girls do to one another to get their revenge, and it just spirals out of control. And Ellie ends up doing some truly inhuman things to avenge Joel, and that's what the whole game is about. And yeah, it's just it's so far, fucking the show is great. I've really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to the next one. So
I think we better get out of here.
Yeah. Where does this comment? Dark Sorcerer. I haven't seen the next episode yet. Are you talking about Star Wars Andor Season 2, or are you talking about The Last of Us? Because I haven't seen the next episode.
Because in both cases, those episodes aren't even out yet.
Yeah. Chris says, my next PM, I'm already giving you my vote.
Prime Minister?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Which one of us? Are we allowed to do that? Because like in America, you can't be president unless you're born in America, or unless you're a
natural born citizen.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how.
Are you allowed to be Prime Minister of England? If you know who would know the answer to this? My friend Ben.
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't. He's an idiot.
You're English guy.
Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then he wouldn't know. I don't think
it's a reference to when we were talking about.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. King Hoon's a British guy. You have a British guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think he would actually know though. He's kind of an idiot. All right. Thus ends our 2-hour show.
Our first marathon of 4 in a row.
Yes. So
God help us all.
Join us next week, Wednesday. I think probably right around 6:30 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about the next episode of The Last of Us. But first, we'll be talking about Star Wars Andor episodes 4, 5, and 6. So thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for the comments, and look for there'll be a couple of videos split off from this that go up on YouTube as well. So
if you've been watching this whole time, please leave a comment and tell us why.
Right. Yeah.
Explain yourself.